Welcome everybody to week number 3 of the After Hours Gaming League. I am Duckville, and of course I'll be bringing you the matches this week. Of course, our teams that will be playing pretty, well, one of them is a pretty big name in the scene of the tech scene, of course, being one of the sponsors of quite a few teams in the StarCraft 2 world, and of course in some of the other gaming worlds as well. And playing for that team, Intel, down the bottom left-hand side of Cloud Kingdom. We have seen him before. It is Preeminence as our blue Protoss player here. His opponent, up at the top right-hand side, is our red Terran player. Going to be playing for Palantir, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, is Chindaderp. Very interesting name for our play here. But yeah, so Palantir, if you're not exactly sure who they are, it's I'm not referring to the crystal balls in Lord of the Rings. Don't know if anyone will catch on to that. It is actually a software company based in California. And they have produced just some, I believe it's like data and analysis sorts of things based in Java and also web-based applications as well. I don't know, that's kind of like way above my head. But yeah, company of around about 400 or 500 people, and we're going to see quite a few of them playing here today. So, of course, we are in Heart of the Swarm, keep in mind, so we'll be on the lookout for some of these very interesting new pieces of technology that both of these races will have. Of course, this is a best of 5 series, so the first of 3 will win, and perhaps if we go 2-2, we may even get to an ace match. Of course, some of the games that I've been casting recently have not been able to go that far, unfortunately. We saw a very interesting set last week between Gree and EA, and, well, you know, we didn't actually see too much of the new stuff from Heart of the Swarm, but either way, you know, there was still some interesting stuff, so make sure you go and have a look at that. From memory, we've actually got, we've had Intel. They actually were struggling a little bit last week. There was actually a very interesting set where they were down 2-0, and then were able to pull it back, so, you know, they have done a really good job with that, and I think it was our Blue Protoss Preeminence who was able to pull all of those games back, or start off the recovery, I should say, because it's not a winners format. But yeah, so they did quite well, and Palantir last week I believe they lost to Epic. But of course you can always jump onto afterhoursgaming.tv and find the VODs there if you'd like to go and check them out. But yeah, we'll find out what these guys are going to go for here. Looks like we will have just a standard sort of opening. It's very common to see in Heart of the Swarm. Things will stay relatively the same. Lots of people, when it comes to actually their starting sort of options, they like to stick with what they know. Of course, you know, if you're familiar with opening up with something like a 1-Rax Expand in Wings of Liberty, you're probably going to do something similar to that here. It's very rare to see people just go completely out on a limb and change things up, but it's also partly a factor of that, well, you know, not too much of early game has changed for any of the 3 races. Of course, you could make the argument that for Terran, they are able to get some Reapers out and, you know, get some decent scouting done with Reapers. Of course, the Reapers have gone through massive changes through, well, of course, at the start of Wings of Liberty, and now in Heart of the Swarm. They've also seen some more changes. So, you know, there's not too much difference going on there, but let's have a look at what we've got going on for these players. Of course, we saw up the top right, we've got Chindaderp going for a 1-Rax Expand. You're going to follow that up with 2 racks behind that. Takes both gas inside the main. Going to be grabbing out quite a lot of gas right at the start here. And for our Protoss player, he's sticking on 1 base for the moment. We've got 1 gate and a Stargate following that up. We will have an Oracle coming out. I'm very happy to see that. But because, as I said, the last few Protoss casts that we've done, in fact, we had trouble seeing a Mothership core just because people were very familiar with their standard sorts of styles, very heavy gateway and robo-based styles. So it's good to see that we are getting an Oracle opening here out of Preeminence. He's going to show us what these guys are up for here. Of course, these the Oracles do a ridiculous amount of damage to light units. They do, what is it? It's, oh, they actually sort of turn on their pulsar beam. I totally forgot what it was for a second there. 25 damage to light units, which of course means that they absolutely shred apart things like workers, like marines, and of course some of the other units that you can see from the other 2 races. But we'll see what kind of damage he's able to get here. We'll just have a look and see. Looks like he will activate the Pulsar Beam. Gets 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Quick Smart. He is absolutely able to annihilate that mineral line, or at least the gas line there, I suppose you could say. And then comes for the Marines. Of course, you need to have at least 3 or 4 Marines to actually stop an Oracle from, you know, just continually blasting away at the Marines. Of course, as we saw there, he was able to take down quite a lot of that. And in fact, the worker kill tally currently sitting at 7. So Preeminence is going to be very happy with that. Behind this, we will see the Chindaderp going to try and recover, going to look towards a mid-game style here with the double eBay coming up. Looks like the Oracle is back for more. In fact, that's a second Oracle that's come about and is going to get even more damage done. And Chindaderp is going to be just sort of flustered right now with the Marines attempting to come about to try and take care of the Oracle. But the Oracle is just, well, he's had a fun time there and everything is dead. 10 kills here for this Oracle, adding to the 10 already from the other one, and that is a fantastic start for Preeminence. He's going to be extremely happy with that. He has expanded behind this with the Nexus going down, double gas at the natural as well, and well, he's going to look to come back inside, going to have a quick peek. Of course, as we saw, the double eBay did go up for Chindaderp. He will be able to get some turrets up, but you know, I mean, that is a lot of damage already done, and as we can see, the worker tally is already looking quite grim at the moment for Chindaderp. So he's already losing some of these units. He's losing some more now. A turret not able to complete. As we can see, the worker tally sitting at 20 for Chindaderp, 38 for Preeminence, and he's just absolutely making a mark on this game right now. So well, we'll see what Chindaderp is going to be able to do, but of course he's already in a very odd and precarious position. Is our Terran player there? He is getting the research going. Of course, +1 on the upgrades is coming along with a very minor economy. He's going to have a little bit of trouble actually activating this second eBay and getting +1 infantry armor going, but you know, if he can stabilize, perhaps throw down some of those mules, protect against any possible follow-up attacks from the Oracles, he may be able to sort of stabilize. But I mean, as you know, as we said, it's going to be very difficult from here for Chindaderp to do that. Of course, back at home for Preeminence, we've got the Forge coming up, Robo Bay following up the facility as well. So he is going to take up to the Colossus very soon, and of course he's going to add those very powerful units to the mixture of the small gateway force that he has here, and of course going to seize those. We'll probably see, in fact, one of the Oracles does go down, but we'll probably see him keep this one alive, just so it can throw out things like Revelation, like the Envision as well, for some detection. Of course, that was moved across from the Mothership Core just recently to perhaps the outcry of some Protoss players who are now a little bit uncertain about what to do right at the start with Widow Mines and things like that. But, you know, you can do things like this. These Oracle openings, I think, are going to become very popular with the switch across of that Envision spell. And, you know, as you can see, the worker count is still looking very good for Preeminence right now. He's up to 46 probes inside his main base, adding in a few extra gates as well for our Terran. He's sitting at 34, so he is slowly catching up. And, of course, the mules are adding into that mineral income tally. But, you know, he's this attack, I'm not sure if this is perhaps the best idea. He's already, well, he is going to be able to deny any possible third base from going up for the moment, but that's not going to be surviving too long. Like this attack force, I really hope he does not push too far in. Yeah, he's going to sort of sit back for the moment, drop off a Marine here, and this guy is just going to sit around and keep an eye on what's going on. But the first Colossus is out. No extended thermal lance just yet. It's just a little bit behind. A few more seconds to get that one done. Around about 15 seconds to get that in real time. And of course, well, this Marine, this guy is he's going to be very unhappy. There it is. Gets a swipe from the Colossus. The Lancers there just burning him away. Quick smart if the Stalkers didn't kill him already. And Chindaderp, well, he's got a very big uphill battle from here. He's got double stargates going down so that he can... starports, sorry, I did get that right the first time. It's double starports going down, so he's going to be able to add in some Colossus, some Vikings, not Colossus. Imagine reacted Colossus, that'd be insane. He's going to be adding in some Vikings there as well. Of course, to deal with the possible Colossus threat that may be coming along, we'll keep an eye on if Preeminence is going to stick on this tech. He has now added in a Twilight Council. We've got a second Forge. Of course, the first Forge already churning away a +1 ground there. And level 2 for the weapons is also going to be on the way soon as well. And he is going to just continue to maintain this map control. We've got an Observer keeping an eye on what comes out of this front ramp of Chindaderp. and as we can see, the bio forces now continuing to move around. It looks like Chindaderp gonna see if he can maintain some of the Xel'Naga map control here, but you know, I don't think he's going to be able to. This force of Colossus Stalkers and a few Zealots and Sentries thrown in for good measure is just going to be too powerful for him to hold this, so he is going to have to head back for the moment. Of course, as we see the bio units going back for now, they do have stim. We've also got combat shields on these Marines as well. The Marauders do not have concussive shell just yet, and it looks like that's not even going to research just yet, so looks like he will stick with just the standard sort of Marauder play going in there. But now we do have 3 Colossus. I would not be surprised if we see our Intel player Preeminence here just actually go for a push right now. In fact, maybe just as the +1 armor finishes up, he can get prepared for that. But this is going to be a perfect timing for this. Of course, his opponent does have a couple of medevacs out and will be able to grab a few Vikings as well. But the issue is, there is just not enough firepower on the ground if Preeminence does look to go towards an attack right now. And upon seeing that the third base has been erected by Chindaderp, I think that it will get started in just a moment. Yeah, the Colossus starting to move forward, getting rid of that any control of that Xel'Naga watchtower, extended thermal lands, burning away some of the Marines there, and he is looking very powerful. A proxy pylon has been set up here for Preeminence to be able to warp in some units. Interesting to see the Mothership Core is back here. She's going to be used for some defense if need be. Of course, she can throw down the Photon Overcharge, which basically turns a Nexus into a giant cannon with a lot of range, and it's a very good way to stop things like drops and any sort of early pushes. So Chindaderp, well, he's trying to prepare here. We've got some Vikings out. We also have the bunkers here as well. They're all set up, and it's all well and good, but I mean, if you can't deflect these Colossus in time, the bunker's going to be completely useless. There is a planetary fortress here, which is getting set up, and it looks like it is ready to go, but I mean, what is it going to do? Again, the Colossus, with their extended thermal lance, just going to be blasting that away from range with no damage done to the Colossus. A couple of extra gates back at home. Preeminence's third base is already up and running, is looking to take his fourth as well, and he has actually started up the attack. Looks like the third is going to go down without any contest. Some good force fields going down. That was intended to block out the buyer so that the Vikings could be taken care of by these Stalkers, and wow, Preeminence just taking care of those Vikings with ease, and the Viking count does drop down to 4. So Preeminence just in this powerful position right now. He's up at 166 supply. I don't think there is any way he is going to be falling to Chindaderp here in this match. It looks like there is a double drop going on. Chindaderp utilizing that the Ignite Afterburners, as it's now called. It's like your own version of Top Gun. We'll see if he is able to sweep across the map. He should be able to perhaps come in through the back here. Of course, you can drop in some of the units on the third base. Of course, you can go through into the main as well and take care of some of these tech buildings that are at the back. Of course, as we see Templar Archives and the Dark Shrine churning along there. +2 to armor is on the way, along with +3 on the weapons. So things are looking very, very good right now, and in fact, Chindaderp is going to be spotted by some of these spotter pylons up at the back of the fourth base here. The Colossus coming in, sweeping through, taking care of some of those units, and look at that, we've even got SCVs in here. I'm not sure what the plan was for those guys, but unfortunately, those were picked up by Chindaderp, and now he's going to look at doubles back, and then he's going to head back inside, but 6 Colossus around. 6 Colossus with 202, keep in mind, about to be 203 very soon, and Chindaderp going to head in for this last possible attack, his last valiant stand perhaps to try and get some damage done on his opponent. But as we can see, Preeminence well aware of what's going on, does not have blink, but there it is. It actually does pick up just in time, and he does have some Stalkers already prepared across to the side in the main base, and a feedback on one of the medevacs sees that go down straight away, and he does drop out some of the units, but one of them's a very hurt Marauder, another is a Marine, the rest are SCVs, and they get cleaned up quick smart, and the push will probably come now for Preeminence, now that he knows his opponent's lost a couple of medevacs, a couple of his main units there that he had, and given that the unit count is currently sitting at 17 Marines, 10 Marauders, and 8 Vikings, along with 4 medevacs up in the air, Preeminence should have an absolute field day with this push that he's about to go for. And like sitting in the army of Preeminence, he's got 7 Colossi, 28 Stalkers, 3 Sentries, and a couple of Templar thrown in for good measure as well. Of course, the Mothership Ship Corps going to hang back at home just in case of any possible side attacks that might come along from those medevacs, but I mean, I doubt that's really going to be of any use to Chindaderp right now. He really needs to pull an absolute rabbit out of a hat right now, because there is no way that he is going to be able to destroy this very large and in-charge Protoss army. And Preeminence with some micro there, taking down a couple of the mules that were at the third base, doing a nice job with that. Of course, the Zealots easily able to slice through those SCVs as well. And, well, we're sort of in this position where we're just waiting for that final push from Preeminence. He's just sort of sitting back, he's making sure that his fourth is established, making sure that everything is looking pretty. He's up to 64 workers right now. Chindaderp is starting to catch up, he's up to 50 SCVs right now, but the problem is that with everything so far behind, his tech is still quite far behind as well. He's sitting on 2-2 against the Protoss with 203, and it looks like the battle is about to occur. Here we go, the Colossus down at the bottom of the ramp, the Vikings trying to do what they can. They are going to get some good salvos off and do some good damage, and that was an interesting storm just across to the side, but another storm right on top of the Vikings. Too many Stalkers here for the Vikings to actually get any damage done, and it looks like Preeminence is just going to easily step across, say hello, knock down the front door, and finish off his opponent. In fact, he's not even going to finish him off. We're just going to sit back for the moment. I think he's just... I'm not sure what Preeminence is up to here, but DTs, perhaps that'll be his finishing move here, throwing in 9 DTs on the map there. We'll see if where they're going to go for. They are going to go straight into the third base here. Turrets have been set up, but I mean, they're going to go down to these DTs very quickly, and in fact, the DTs are able to go straight for the Planetary Fortress, but unfortunately, Planetary Fortress does quite a lot of damage. The Ibix cannons there with 40 damage per shot, and that splashes still, I believe that splashes. So he is able to deflect that for the moment, and, you know, it's a minor victory for Chindaderp, but I mean, you know, we'll have to see if he's able to capitalize on that at all, but I really don't think so. Some more DTs now about to head in through the front door this time. They're actually just going to completely bypass everything, because there is no detection apart from this turret that's inside the natural here, and he does get that easily, and then he's able to go to town on the rest of these forces here, and the DTs go inside the third as well, and he is able to get some more damage done on this planetary. A couple of turrets are trying to get set up by Chindaderp, but I mean, there is no real way that he's going to be able to stop any of this. I'm at a loss for words. We've sort of just got a finishing move of DTs here from Preeminence. He's just trying to whack down as much as he can, taking his fifth base down at the bottom right-hand side of the map. There was a hidden command center just across to the top left-hand side, but you know, that's not going to get too much done over there. The DTs now inside the third have taken down the Planetary Fortress. There is an extra command center just across to the side, but not really going to get much done with that. More and more DTs coming in from Preeminence. He's just throwing them in, just throwing them at the wall and seeing what sticks. But he is going to finish off his opponent very soon here, and it looks like the DTs are able to clean up a lot of these supply depots. The supply count currently sitting at 189 to 104. He's like a killer whale playing with a seal right now. I'm not sure if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but that's what Preeminence looks like at this moment. He does even have a carrier on the way, so he's going to be able to throw that into the mix, but it looks like the final battle, Chindaderp has had enough of being toyed like a mouse with a cat, and he does come in for the fight and gets burnt up by the Colossus. The Stalker's also jumping in to deal some damage to the Vikings there as well, and Chindaderp is forced to GG. So we'll go into game number 2 in just a moment. First game going the way of Preeminence for Team Intel. We'll see if Palantir is able to bring back another game, or if Intel will continue on their streak, and you can see me there in just a moment.